Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data. And occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the demo video for the international trip budget spreadsheet. So what does the spreadsheet do? Very simply, it allows you to put in various currencies and the exchange rate to the pound, so that what you can do is if you're going overseas on a trip, or if you're planning a trip and you're going to go to multiple countries and spend multiple currencies, what's that costing you? How much of each currency do you need? All that kind of thing. So first, before we start, we put in the currencies that you want to use. You don't need to put in the Great British Pound. That will be a default for the spreadsheet, but you can put in all the other currencies, the places that you're going to, just put in the currency code. They don't necessarily need to be correct because you're going to be putting in the values anyway. Put in the currency codes, don't put in any duplicates, and then put in the value of £1. So in other words, South African rand, US dollar, Canadian dollar. Now I've just put in random figures here, those aren't right, but if you put in the value of £1, then it'll give you the reverse, and you can override the reverse if you want. Now it depends how accurate you need the spreadsheet to be, because if you're going to be putting this value in at a little bit lower than what it ought to be, maybe you considering charges and things, so you want to put this a bit lower and you want that one to be a bit higher, then you can overwrite the figures. If you're just wanting to get an estimate and you're putting in a standard kind of rate and you're not worried about the charges, then you can just take those reverse figures. Otherwise, you can override them if you want to be a bit more specific in the values that you put in, if you want to account for charges. That's the first thing. Once you've set that up with the currencies that you want, you're halfway there. Your budget, very simple. Put in whatever you want to in your expense. I'll just put your test doodle. You can put in whatever you want in your description. So this, you can itemize all the bits and bobs that you're going to be spending on, whether it be hotels, whatever else. You can itemize them here, and you can select the currency. Those will be the ones that you've put in. You see British pound is at the top, and then the others follow on. So you can select your currency that you're going to be spending for that particular item, and a budget value. Now, obviously, the actual you can't put in at the beginning. You put that in afterwards, but you put in the budget value. You can see there's no currency symbol because it depends on what currency you've got there. That will then work out the first part of your report, which I'll show you in a second. But when you come back and you fill in, or even while you're on holiday, if you want to be that meticulous, when you spend money, select the currency again and the value that you actually spent on each of those items. Now, the reason why you select the currency again is because you might budget something in, say, US dollars, but when you get there, I don't know what the situation is, you might pay for it before you get there, and you might pay for it in pounds or whatever, you might pay in a different currency. So you got that option to select the currency and put in what it actually costs. That will all be converted into pounds on the right here, so you can see exactly what it is that you're spending. And as you fill these in, your report will update. So what does your report do? Well, there's a pre-trip report where it takes your budget and it shows you how many, what of each currency you're going to require and converts it to pounds. So you can see exactly what is it you need and gives you a total in pounds sterling at the bottom. Also, what it does is it gives you a breakdown in pounds as to where what those the pounds that you're spending, what currencies they're going to in proportion to each other. You can then scroll down. You can see each of those currencies in pounds. How much have you spent in each of them? How much have you budgeted? How much have you spent? Here you can get your total value budgeted, total value spent. What percentage of the budget did you use, and how much did you have left over? How much were you over budget? And lastly, you can see a breakdown of your actual budget compared your actual expense compared to your budget, breakdown in pounds by the different currencies. So not only do you have this report to show exactly where you overspend, which currency you overspend in, but you've also obviously got a complete breakdown budget here of each individual item, what percentage of the budget you used, what you spent. And you can use the section at the top here once you've done your budget to plan how many what value of each currency you're going to need. So I hope that helps you. If it does and the spreadsheet's useful, please do use and get a lot out of it. And we wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.